Fucking coming for your head, bro. It all ends on the 19th. And the new unified super flyweight champion of the world. I'm the truth, baby, and I'm gonna prove it to you all.
James Turner for the untouchable true school sports. Let's go, baby. Bow!
Be careful what you wish for because it can become a reality.
Yeah. And just like that, it is in fact Jesse Bam Rodriguez versus Phumelela Cafu fight weekend. I have a lot to say, man, because you know, one of the things that I've always said about boxing, if you guys really pay attention to me, if you've been paying attention to things that I say over the years, you may have heard me say what I'm about to tell you guys right now. Because, you know, here on YouTube, I hear fans of certain fighters from certain fan bases and different ethnic groups say that, you know, there's all these obstacles to overcome, and they like to blame race and skin color or the country they're from. I hear a lot of the black fight fans say, oh, well, you know, so-and-so is black, so he has so much to overcome, right? Same thing with the Mexican fans. Oh, well, such and such is having it hard because the Mexican fighters go through so much, right? And you guys know, if you've ever heard me talk about this, I've always told you guys which country and which part of the world has fighters with the most obstacles to overcome in boxing. And it ain't the Mexicans, it's not the blacks, it's not anybody here in America, it's not anybody even in Latin America, truth be told. It's not anybody from Asia, it's not anybody from Europe. The country and the ethnic group of fighters that has the most to overcome when it comes to boxing are the African fighters, because the African fighters, you know, let's face it, like the continent of Africa doesn't have a lot of resources or infrastructure when it comes to boxing. The big TV money, the big promoters are in America, they are in the UK, they are in Japan. I guess now if you want to say with Turkey, they're now in Saudi Arabia. Okay, so the Africans, generally speaking, an African fighter has to, you know, turn pro, win a bunch of fights in their country, become a mandatory challenger, get screwed over and wait the longest to get a title shot. And then when they get that title shot, they got to make sure they win, because they don't, they may never, ever get a shot again. And so that's why I've always said when an African fighter, no matter which country it's from, whether it's South Africa, Nigeria, Namibia, Ghana, Congo, wherever the case may be, when an African fighter breaks through in any way, shape, or form, it is the most organic success that can possibly be produced in this sport of boxing. All right, so let's get that established. And I say that to set the stage and tell you guys that Phumelela Cafu and the circumstances he has to go up against heading into the Bam Rodriguez fight prove everything I'm saying. Why? Because first and foremost, it's already a big of enough ask that he's fighting an amazing fighter in Bam Rodriguez. Jesse Bam Rodriguez is one of the best fighters in the world. That in itself is a challenge to overcome. Then you gotta factor in he's going to Texas, right? He's going to Texas. If you look at the history of boxing, when you fight a Mexican or Mexican fighter in Texas, you normally don't get the benefit of the doubt in a close fight. It's just the facts, right? And then now you have the fact that Turki Al-Sheikh he's pretty much made Bam Rodriguez versus Fernando Martinez for after this fight, which means that in a fight in a close fight or you know in a close fight with a close decision, more likely than not, Cafu is not getting a decision. And because Turki made this fight and he has plans for Bam Rodriguez, you can pretty much factor in that Phumelela Cafu is already down heading into the fight. Before he throws a punch, before they make the ring walk, he is already down 8-0 going into the Bam Rodriguez fight. I'm telling y'all that right now. I'm telling you guys the truth. Now, does it mean he can't beat Bam? No, of course not. He can beat Bam Rodriguez, but it's going to take a better performance than he even had to win the world title when he went to Japan and he beat Kosai Tanaka. Now, I think, and I'm going to be very, very blunt here, so I'm sorry, but y'all got Phumelela Cafu all the way fucked up. I see people writing this man off. I see people talking like he's just like a scrub, a can, a nobody. And I don't know, man. I think Bam Rodriguez is in for a real fight. Why? Well, first and foremost, let's just state the obvious. He's not like 35 years old or 34 years old like all these other guys tend to be. Bam be fighting old guys. Gallo, you know, all these guys that were good names, good fighters, but like, you know, he's not shot. He's not past his peak. He's not past his prime. This is a guy that's very much in his prime, at the top of his game, at the peak of his powers. But you know, the mental and physical abilities are meeting up at its highest point, and he's in his prime right now. So it's different. It's different than fighting a faded veteran like a guy like Guy or Shot, who was a great fighter in his day, But let's face it, a shot to pieces guy with Estrada. So that being said, that's number one. Number two, if you look at Bam Rodriguez, right, and this is just talking boxing, being objective here. Look, Bam Rodriguez, if you look at his last, if you look at like over his last 5 fights, like his last 5 fights, his 2 toughest fights over his last 5 fights have been against Israel Gonzalez in late 2022 and Christian Gonzalez in early 2023. Now, in the Israel Gonzalez fight, it was a close fight. I thought it was a little closer than some of the scorecards had it. One judge did score 114, 113 for Bam, so one judge did see that fight as a close fight. But Israel Gonzalez, veteran fighter, been in there with some top guys. Israel Gonzalez, his range, his height, it made it a bit hard for Bam to get on the inside as easy and then start pivoting around him like he likes to do. It was a little bit harder for Bam to get his rhythm in that fight. He was 5'6" and he was rangy, right? The next fight, Bam fought Christian Gonzalez for the vacant WBO flyweight title. And Christian Gonzalez really and truthfully was a club show Mexican fighter. He didn't have any like real top names to speak of going into that fight. It was a fight where Bam was supposed to, be sensational. And not only was he not sensational, he got his jaw broken by Christian Gonzalez. And the awkward style, Christian Gonzalez doesn't really have a lot of power. He does a lot of switching. He has a very awkward style, but he's very flawed. His chin was in the air. He leans over his front foot a lot. So Bam was able to outbox him, be the volume puncher, land, and do what he needed to do. But it was Christian Gonzalez's combination of awkwardness and size and his height that kind of troubled Bam and gave him some fits. So, Gaio Estrada, he was like 5'4". Pedro Guevara was like 5'3", 5'4". Sonny Edwards was like 5'4". But I'm saying all this to say that the last 2 opponents that really made Bam look bad were 5'6". They were taller fighters. Cafu fits the description of that. He is 5'6" himself. Now, he's not, judging by the reach on paper, he's got a 3-inch reach disadvantage against Bam. Bam's got pretty long arms for this weight class, but he is 5'6". And what he has going for him that Christian Gonzalez and Israel Gonzalez didn't have going for them is that Cafu really has pop. Like he can really punch. He did drop Kosai Tanaka in their fight. And I do think like Bam will have an advantage. I feel based on what I've seen from Cafu, Bam will have an advantage in the latter rounds. So if you're thinking about Bam getting a stoppage, I would probably say it's going to be in the later rounds. But early on in this fight, them first like 4 to 7 rounds, Cafu's going to be dangerous, and Bam has to make sure he's defensively sound in this fight, because if he isn't, he can get knocked out. I'm telling y'all that right now. He can get knocked out by Cafu. I think this is a real fight. I think Cafu has the power, the youth, and the height to at least take Bam the distance. And if Bam isn't careful, Bam is going to get put out. Now, if it goes to a decision, I'll just be honest with you guys. Cafu is not getting a decision at all. Turkey already has this fight with Puma Martinez lined up. Bam is like, they're trying to make Bam, and he's becoming one of the money guys around these weights. So the odds are on his side to get a close decision in Texas. I'm just being honest. But this is a real fight, and I think anybody writing out Cafu is foolish. Cafu is an excellent counterpuncher. Cafu has heavy hands, so because he's also heavy-handed, if Bam makes a mistake, he can really pay for it in a major way of this fight. Cafu also, he's a pretty good mover, so I think it could be a little bit harder for Bam to get the angles around Cafu, and if Bam can't get those side steps and those angles around you, he becomes a bit of an easier fighter to figure out. Obviously, it's still hard to prevent him from doing that because he's so great at getting that angle on you and turning you. But if you can neutralize that and you're a good mover yourself, you can make Bam a more beatable fighter. I think this is gonna be a real fight. I think Cafu, honestly, and I could be wrong. I got no problem being wrong if I am. But I think Bam is in a real fight, and I think Bam's gonna go the distance. I think this is gonna be a fight where Bam will get. I think Bam is gonna get a decision, but I think Cafu is gonna have his moments, and I think people are going to really and truthfully have to put some respect on Cafu's name, because I'm just seeing it, man. People aren't even talking about Cafu. They're talking about Puma. And, you know, I like the Puma Martinez fight. I've clamored for that fight. So if Bam gets to this fight, then I'll be excited for it when it happens. But, like, this has a chance to be, you know, a nightmare scenario for Bam Rodriguez, because, you know, Cafu's training like for this fight like it's like his life depends on it, because really and truthfully it does. African fighters don't get a second chance to be in this position. So he got to make this count. As for Bam, it's like Bam already got his next fight lined up. I'm sure, like, I guarantee you guys, they've already told Bam what his next 2 fights are. He's probably going to fight Cafu, he's going to fight Puma, and then if he beats Puma, maybe he fights Antonio Vargas if he comes through that fight against Daigo Higa. Or he fights for one of the vacant belts that Junto's going to leave for him there at 118. So he's already got, like, his little roadmap, and I feel like because Bam has these other bigger fights ahead of him, and because he already has his next fight already scheduled, subconsciously, as human nature has shown us, he could have a letdown. And I just think that Phumelela Cafu is not being taken serious enough by the boxing world. It's honestly not even the boxing world's fault, because let's be real, like, I just spent the last hour and a half of my life watching Cafu interviews, watching Cafu fights. He hasn't really fought a whole lot of, you know, people. Really the only name he's fought on the world level is Kosai Tanaka, so I understand it, and you know, but I think if you look at Cafu's last, you know, couple of fights, what I think is going to help him going into this fight is that, you know, excluding Tanaka, or even if you want to include Tanaka, like pretty much 3 of his last 4 fights, he's gone the distance, and so is he going to knock out Bam? I would say probably not, but he does have serious of enough pop to keep Bam honest, and to really make this interesting. And I'm telling you guys keep talking about Bam needs to fight Junto, and, you know, I know I've claimed about Bam fighting Kenshiro, and Puma Martinez fights already made. Yo, if Bam overlooks this guy at all, South African boxing is gonna have themselves a unified champion. So I would highly advise Bam Rodriguez and everybody to not overlook Cafu, because this guy is an excellent counterpuncher. This guy is a good boxer. You know, he's got a really good jab, and he is be taken serious, because he can knock you. He dropped. If you go back and you watch the Kosai Tanaka fight, he dropped Kosai Tanaka going backwards. It was he was stepping back and he threw a straight right hand down the middle, and that's what caught. Or no, it wasn't a straight right hand. It was like a looping overhand right, because Tanaka threw an uppercut and then he looped it around the guard and caught him. But either way, this guy is a serious fighter. He didn't have a big amateur background from what I've gathered. He really just now got on the world stage, but this dude is hungry, and he's confident, and I know he doesn't have the name of a guy like Rongvasai or Quadras or any of these guys that Bam has fought, but I really believe that Phumelela Cafu might just be, at this stage of Bam Rodriguez's career, the most dangerous fighter he's fought, and that's enough for me to get excited about this fight and intrigued about this fight. And, you know, it'll reveal more to me about, you know, is Bam really on that top level, which I think he is. I got him on my own pound list, but I'm gonna learn more about. And I know he's fantastic, but how fantastic is he? So these are the kind of fights that I want to see, and I'm happy that we're getting this fight. And best luck to Bam, and best luck to Cafu. I think this fight's gonna be an absolute barn burner. So you guys let me know what you think in the comments down below. How do you think Cafu does against Bam? You know, take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Dania. So until next time, take care, guys. Thank you for watching another video on the untouchable True School Sports Empire. For more great boxing content just like this, make sure you guys stay tuned and subscribe. You won't be disappointed.